But if it's
Perfect.
here, I have to like,
Yeah, it's put more effort in it.
yeah, I got a flag to the left and then
Yeah. That's where climbing comes handy, like adaptive movements. Yeah, that's a way to grab a beer.
It's-
Chan,
Hello.
welcome, welcome
you.
to this thing.
Thank you.
Let's talk about things.
yeah, I do like to talk sometimes.
Perfect.
Loving the studio. It's really nice.
It's the first time you see it.
Yeah. It was really lovely. Like you really did well.
Thanks. I'm glad that you like it. How was your day so far?
It was good.
What did you do?
I spent all day editing today, just doing all the motion graphics for the new Mountain Goat video.
Excellent. Tell me about the Mountain God project, and I'm just realizing I forgot glasses.
That's okay. You can. I got my beer. So
Cheers. This is far. Mountain God project. What's that about?
Yeah, Mountain Goat Climbing is a YouTube channel I created, basically just documenting my journey amongst climbing and all the things I've learned and am still learning off people and through my trial and error. And so basically, there's like outdoor climbing breakdowns that I'm doing, tutorials about climbing, and just like vlogs and just talking about anything climbing fitness related.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
How long ago did you start the channel?
Probably 2 weeks ago.
So what's the URL?
I don't have a URL yet because I need 100 subscribers to be able to get
Right.
a custom URL.
So how can we find the channel? What's the title? Like?
Well, last time I searched my Mountain Goat Climbing, it came up in like the 5th, I think, recommendation.
Okay. Let's
But we'll see what the
let's
algorithms pick
show
up.
some of your content.
My Mountain Goat Climbing, it came up in like the.
So today we're at the Black Cave near Manly and we're working on this problem called Aquarius. It's a V6 overhung. And so it's our first time at this crag today and we're trying to figure out the beta of the climb. And you see the beta is a sequence of movements required to complete the climb. And
So
that
you
will
give
vary
like
from person to person,
explanations
as every
and
different person has a
instructions
different approach to
Yeah.
climbing.
while you show a climb.
Exactly.
Generally,
Because I like to make
beta,
what
that is
what
the
we
most
do as
important
climbers available
practice
to just your everyday person, so they can understand the world we're in and how we solve problems and the process behind it.
Fantastic.
Because I really love it and it's really fun.
That's perfect. Okay, let's go in depth about climbing. What
Tell what you're gonna get.
how did you start climbing? Let's start with that.
Ooh. Well, my friend Sam took me a few years ago. She's one of the route setters at St. Peter's. Just started going like once a week here and there. I'm like, yeah, this is fun, it's cool, but then stopped for like years after that. And then I guess I started last year, like right before COVID. Started going into it a bit more, and then COVID happened. And then I was in a place where I'm like, oh, I need something to do. I'm just at home doing nothing. And then so
Out of boredom, basically.
yeah, and just being fed up with life, and I needed something like movement in my life. So I bought a bouldering pad and started going outside by myself to the front line.
Okay.
Yeah,
Frontline is a climbing spot.
yes. Yeah,
Very-
front line's
very
a climbing spot
popular
in
For the people who don't know.
North Rocks, yeah.
Yeah. What's your what does climbing mean to you? Like the contact with nature and the rocks and in general, like it's climbing is like very diverse. There's bouldering and there's sport climbing and there's like what's your specialization?
Well, I do bouldering a lot because I don't have to rely on anyone. I could just go by myself. And so that's just more accessible for me. But I love all aspects of climbing, and it ticks so many boxes in my life, I find. Like, there's a fitness side of it. There's a really lovely community. The problem-solving aspect.
I love that.
It just tickles my fancy in that way. And yeah, it ticks a lot of boxes in my life.
Yeah, I think what I like a lot about bouldering is the community aspect of it. Like, it's easy to socialize and meet people and make friends, even though it's like a individual sport. Having to rely on somebody else to belay you, it kind of, I don't know.
It's a whole process, you know.
Yeah, I don't like sport climbing for many reasons.
What don't you like about it?
I think the main thing is probably that, like, it's not that I have a problem with heights, but I don't love heights either. Like it's just like it's okay. I can stand heights, but
it's not what you want to do on a like Saturday afternoon, I guess. Like,
no. The other thing is, I think that my major issue with sport climbing specifically is that I don't like surfing, for instance, right? It feels good, it feels great, and it's a very good exercise. It's very good for your body, and you're in contact with the element like water in the case of surfing and rock in the case of sport climbing. But it's pointless. It's like you go back and forth, back and forth. You're not actually going anywhere. Like you're just like, it's just like
But in the process of catching that wave and getting to that other point, and you're going back and forth, isn't that the best part of it? Isn't that what makes you feel something?
Yes, and that is fun, but it's not fulfilling. Like it, I don't find like a meaning in that. I find like, okay, it's fun. I can do it once or twice, and then I'm fucking bored because I'm not getting anywhere.
No, you got to point B,
Yeah, but I mean, it's like on a swing. Like I think my main problem is like my mindset is like a traveler mindset. So and for instance, when I travel, I hate reaching my destination because that means that my journey is over. So I prefer to like keep traveling. So when you tell me like you need to climb like this wall for like, and the wall is maybe like 60 meters tall, and you go like you need to climb like 15 meters to the anchor and then come back down. I'm like, what? Like why? Why would I do that? I want to get to the top and then go over and then keep going. Like that's so. For these reasons, I like bouldering and traditional climbing much better because you're not like constrained to like you don't need to rely on like bolts on the wall, so you can climb wherever with traditional climbing and with bouldering as well. You don't have like a fixed anchor or destination point. You can actually use those climbing skills to get or go wherever you want and pass an obstacle basically. And that's why I love bouldering. It's like skills to me. It's not like
I love it.
Yeah, thanks.
Do you try climb much?
No, I never did. I never done it. I do a lot of bouldering. I love it. No, I do a lot of bouldering. I want to try trad climbing, but then there is the component of like the altitude that kind of scares me a little bit. I've done a little.
Like in terms of like your breathing when you're up there.
No. I'm like the height. Like I'm not scared of heights, but I'm a little bit scared of heights.
Yeah, I'm pretty scared of heights. Like every time I do top rope or like any type of bigger walls, I'm still pretty scared, and I try not to look down, but I don't know, do it.
Not sure. I've done a little bit of free soloing, and I like that better than like top roping.
What's the highest you free soloed?
Probably like 15 meters, not much.
Oh my god! Wait, 15 meters?
Yeah, but it was like a what grade would it be here? Like barely anything, like
V0.
No, like nothing, like a ladder basically.
Yeah, nice.
But
yeah. And how'd that feel?
It feels amazing. I started doing it when I was like I don't know, a kid, like 10, 12. And then I started climbing when I was much older, and I realized that the things that I were doing as a kid were a little bit nuts. So I started doing bouldering instead. But now up to like I think last time I did something crazy like that was 2009 probably. Yeah, around those years.
What was it?
I went on a multi-day mountain trip with just a backpack.
By yourself?
It was two of us. The other guy was even crazier than me. How do you call it when like on the side of the mountains there's just like a lot of like very small rocks all together?
Like loose gravel,
yeah,
I guess.
Yeah. In Italian it's called a pietraia, which is like sort of like dangerous because it can like Yes.
Anytime.
It's kind of like an avalanche effect
Yep.
kind of thing. But anyway, no, the point is that on that occasion, we just like when I get there, we're going there straight. Like doesn't matter what's in between. So we passed a lot of like we had to cross a lake, we had to pass a pietraia thing, we had to climb like a 15 meters nothing wall. Like that was like not too hard, but you know, with like 20 kilos
With a backpack on.
Yeah.
Wow.
But again, I wasn't like probably at that time like I was 21 or something like that.
Yep. It's full of testosterone at the time, and
Yeah.
Do you remember that Czech trad climbing ball thing that we talked about?
Oh yes, have you ever heard of it? Czech knot climbing.
Czech knot climbing. What's that?
So basically, they use bits of rope. We can bring it up.
Oh, knot climbing, where
yeah.
they tie like a knot.
They tie a knot.
And use it like a trad climbing.
yes,
thing. Yeah.
like an anchor for instead of cams and
So they put
this. Yeah, look at the picture with the blue one. Like you can see how the knots are made. Yeah, or even this. Yeah.
Is that safe?
Is how is it less safe than like a dice?
I don't know. Hey. Because like the rope could compress.
Yeah,
with
but
more force.
that's I think that you take that in account when you prepare the knot, and it's also easier to squeeze it in because it's like soft. I'm not sure. I never heard of it.
I don't know.
Until like a couple of weeks ago, a few weeks ago. But yeah, this is something that I would like to try because like in theory you can just go you by yourself with a rope and then you start cutting it and climbing it. Instead of using it to secure yourself, you use it to like cut it down in small pieces and just, you know.
That's a good hobby.
Sounds a bit risky.
Definitely pushing the limits.
So what the riskiest climb you ever done?
No, nothing really. Just like boulder problems here and there. Just been to the mountains doing just like top roping climbs, but nothing like too like crazy or anything. I'm still pretty fresh in climbing, to be honest.
Let's talk about the mental component of bouldering. Like the brain power that is required to like solve a boulder problem. This is also something very important compared to sport climbing where you just go up and down.
It's not just
up
that.
And down. Yeah, but you know what I mean? In a boulder
you can go
problem,
side to side as well.
yeah, you can traverse. Yeah. No, but when you okay, after a certain level, like rock climbing becomes like mixed with bouldering, you know?
Yeah.
But my question is like, what do you think about the fact that even before you start climbing, you need to start processing like what the climb is, how to approach it? Do you have like a process to like figure out the route and all that?
Kind of, yeah. Like I guess I'm at a stage where I can intuitively know where to place my feet and my hands. I guess by looking at the position of the hold.
Okay.
Say for example, like you're pulling a van side door open, and the most practical way to pull that is through like perpendicular.
Yes.
Yeah, like that. And I feel it's the same thing with the holds. If you look at the way the holds are positioned, you can see the most ergonomic way to pull on it. And then so you need to position your body in the most ergonomic way from that hold.
Yes. Also because you're hanging, so it's not just your hands, it's the rest of the body that needs to be positioned accordingly.
Yeah, and that's generally done by like different methods of flagging.
Yeah, like to grab the bottom here, like the thing that you showed before.
Yeah, because if I really reach like that, I'm putting a lot of strain on myself. But if I put my foot here and reach, I can get more reach, like an extra foot almost.
That makes sense. What are the secrets or techniques that you like most in climbing?
Flagging, definitely.
What do you think helps most? Like when somebody wants to learn bouldering or climbing in general, like what are the base techniques that everyone should learn?
Oh, okay. I reckon keep it to 3. One thing is keep your hips to the wall, because if you don't have your hips to the wall, the gravity is just pulling your hips down consistently, and you're just fighting against yourself. But when you aim to have your hips close to the wall, your center of gravity is more over your feet, and so your feet can do more of the work. And then tip number 2 would be use your feet.
Yes.
And so because your feet are a lot stronger than your arms are,
Yeah.
and so they're going to be like the main driving force when you maneuver yourself on the wall. And so to trust your feet more and really drive down with your toes, because you're usually stepping on like really tiny holds. And so you got to use your tippy toes. And then the third one is climb with straight arms. And so from the first 2 dips, keep your hips to the wall, use your feet. And when you climb with straight arms, you'll save a lot more energy. So you're not just pulling yourself up. You need to learn to conserve your energy for when you reach the crux. And the crux, for people who don't know, is the hardest part of the climb, which takes the most energy or coordination to complete. And so I guess when you reach that part of the climb, you want to save all your energy so you have the energy to move past the crux.
Fantastic. Yes. I think most people who start, they naturally have the tendency to like pull themselves up instead of like using proper footwork. That's probably the most common mistake.
That was me for like almost 6 months. that was hard.
How do you protect yourself from injuries? In bouldering especially, like in climbing in general, but in bouldering especially, I think tendinitis is the worst enemy. I used to, and I thought I had a better question, but this comes first. I used to climb almost every day, and my forearms were just killing me. And you can do massage, you can use like tools and devices like rollers and stuff like that, but probably the best way to prevent injuries is not to climb over your limit. So what do you think is the rule of thumb, like the norm, like what people should do to avoid injuries?
It depends on like different people, where people are in their fitness and all that. I say definitely warm up. Always warm up. I say like 3 times a week is a good kind of limit. 4 or 5 if you really want to
push it.
Yeah, but generally like don't push past your limit, and warm up beforehand and stretch afterwards. Also, like, because a lot of climbing is like you're gripping, right? And so that's only like this part of your forearm.
Yeah.
And I guess to counteract that is to strengthen this part of your forearm. So in your natural state, you'll be neutral instead of more like clenched, because you're overusing this muscle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I noticed that my forearm pain was reduced after I started doing practicing again jiu-jitsu, which is something that I was doing like for years. I don't know. I think I used like an antagonist muscles. Anyway, it compensates the problem. So like my inflammation just went away as soon as I started training, like not intensively, but enough. What do you think between like, what's the difference between climbing indoor and climbing in nature? Like climbing past plastic or climbing rocks?
Well, climbing in nature, you're climbing in nature, which is great. It's always great. You have the element of nature, and I don't know, for me, I just feel better when I'm in nature. But I still love climbing plastic.
Why is that?
Just different kind of problems, I guess. Just all these different sets of problems. Yeah, I love both of them, but the element of nature just really draws me to it.
Okay.
Yeah. What do you like more?
I think it depends. I think I used to like go to the gym because of the social aspect of it. Like I could make friends and talk to people, but then you can actually do the same if you go climbing outdoors.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same people in the gyms that go outside. So.
Yes, yes. But actually, it's probably better because when you go outdoors, you meet people who are actually into climbing, because people who are just beginning, they might not go outdoor. And also you meet people who enjoy being in nature.
Yeah.
And most of the people that I know, the majority of people that I climb with in the gym, they hardly ever climb outdoors.
They're missing out.
Yeah, I know. I try to push them to do it.
I know, me too,
Some
man.
of them.
We'll get there.
Yeah. But I do like both. You get like it's a safer environment. At least it's tricky because it
In the
tricks
gym?
you. Yeah, it tricks you into feeling safe because the mats and like all the colors and
Safe
stuff.
enough.
But then if you think it is safe, that's when injuries might happen because like you relax too much and you stop worrying and doing things that you are supposed to do to stay safe.
Yeah.
Like for instance stretching or like checking if like there is I don't know moisture on one of the holes or whatever, like things that you would do on an actual like rock. Ultimately I prefer nature obviously, but I do like climbing indoor a lot
Yeah.
because it's always like a safe spot, like it's something that you can do like no brainer. Anytime you feel like I need to climb now, just go to the gym and
Yeah, whenever you get the itch, you can just go.
yeah.
Well, when they're open, of course.
When you climb in nature, you kind of need a climbing partner anyway. You can boulder by yourself, but it's always better to have somebody spotting you, I think.
Yeah, just in case.
It's not as essential as in sport climbing. I mean, you could belay yourself as well if you really wanted to.
But do you really want to?
I guess it would be more risky than bouldering by yourself. But
Yeah.
it
wouldn't
is
know,
possible. It is possible. You can
Yeah.
use like
There's
devices.
yeah. You just solo climb. But
Yeah. But the point of bouldering anyway is to like, I don't know. I think to me, I do it because I like the sport, I like the exercise, but I also like the like-minded people. So going by myself, I don't see the point of it. Would you
Yeah.
like boulder by yourself all the time? Like,
Not all the time. Like, I definitely enjoy like climbing with friends a lot more. And I feel just having them around, having the friends around and like just pushing you to push your own limits just really helps you push your own limits as well. And that energy that everyone creates together just really is.
big shout out to Nikhil. He's the he's the motivator of. I think to me it makes a huge difference, to be honest, when I'm trying to do something that is on the edge of my limit and I'm about to give up, and there is either a friend of, sometimes it's like just completely a random stranger that goes like, hey, you can do it like that, like yes,
It makes all the difference.
it makes the huge difference.
The
I actually
mentality switches, you know.
Yeah. You start believing in yourself more because there are people that believe that you can do that. I don't know, like it's a loop kind of thing.
It is, because like you definitely probably have the physical limit, the physical strength to do it, and the technical ability to do it. It's just that last little mental thing that kind of stops you at times, you know.
Yeah, you go like, I'll get it next time. I got so close. But if there is somebody that actually believes that you can get it, like you start believing more in yourself. Okay, climbing and self-confidence. What do you think? How do you think that two things are connected?
Well, for example, just me, I've always been scared of heights, and so getting into climbing has helped me navigate, I guess, make decisions when the fear kicks in, and how I like stay calm when the fear kicks in. So I guess that played a big part in self-confidence.
Interesting.
And at the same time, just socializing as well, just putting myself out there more and just talking to people, just being more social than I was previously.
What else do you do to maintain a good what's the word, mental health beside climbing? Because climbing is something that like it keeps my mind calm and helps me focus on anything. Basically, it just relaxes me and puts me in a good mindset. Is climbing the only thing that you do to achieve that state, or are there any other?
No, but the ratio is like 90% climbing.
Okay.
Like when I have to rest, like I play music a lot, I play guitar a lot and didgeridoo.
What's the thing behind you?
That's a didgeridoo in a didgeridoo case.
Oh,
Can we have a look?
what a
Please.
coincidence.
Yeah, who put that there?
How long have you been playing the didgeridoo for?
About I think 4 or 5 years now.
Let's have a didgeridoo demonstration. Actually, last Friday, CHUN came in here to play in a jam session with a couple of other fantastic musicians, and one of the three instrumental performances was accompanied by didgeridoo music, and I think it was quite great.
How heavy is that? It looks quite heavy.
It's a few kilos.
Okay.
What is it made of?
Iron bark wood.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is it native to Australia, obviously? And
Yes.
is it unique species as well? I don't know.
I'm not too sure, to be honest.
Let's hear it. So it's one note only, right? What's the note?
So this one's in the key of D.
Okay.
So yeah, it's just the one note. But then I generally like hum or like kind of sing over it, like. And then add different textures on top of that.
Can you bend the notes? Like you know how when you play, I might be saying something wrong here, but I'm pretty confident that when you play an harmonica in the key of C, for instance, certain notes you can bend with your diaphragm
Yeah.
to achieve notes that are not in the
scale.
In the scale.
Yeah.
Can you do the same with a didgeridoo?
Kind of, I think. I'm not too sure. I know you can get like different octaves of the same key.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure if you can bend it too much.
That does sound
Yeah, a
like
little
a
bit,
different octave.
yeah.
Yes. So ideally, like, what's the way to go with the didgeridoo? Like, do you need to have a set of, I don't know, many didgeridoos,
Oh.
12 or whatever?
Depends like what you're after. Like if you want to jam with different musicians that play in different keys, yeah, you need to get different keys of didgeridoos. Or
Are
there's
there
a,
didgeridoos in each key?
or there's a didgeridoo bone where there's two like PVC pipe
Okay.
and then it slides so you can kind of adjust the key and
Oh,
yeah.
interesting. It's like the
Yeah.
equivalent of a chromatic harmonica.
Yeah. Kind of like a trombone didgeridoo.
Yeah,
Yeah.
interesting. Interesting.
Wow. So how?
Yeah.
What's the history behind this? Do you happen to know? How old is the instrument originally and stuff
I've heard it's the oldest instrument.
in the world?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Let's look it up. It sounds
But-
interesting. I have no idea what's the story of a didgeridoo is, but makes a good sound. It worked very well with the jam session from last Friday.
I'm glad.
Do you have any reason why you chose this specific instrument? Is there any deeper meaning or deeper connection that you have with music and with this music in particular?
Yeah, I guess I went to a sound healing session. And there was a guy playing didgeridoo and like the singing bowl. And so he started playing the didgeridoo around the room and starts playing on people's bodies. Like he just hovers the didgeridoo over you
Oh wow!
and starts playing, and you can really feel just something, I don't know, something, whatever that is. But
The pressure of the air.
the vibration of it all,
Uh-huh.
whatever it's moving inside you, because you know vibration affects water, and our body is made up of water.
Okay.
So there's that. And since then, I've just been really curious about the didgeridoo. And yeah, I just kept following that curiosity. And I find that instrument brings me a lot of peace.
Okay. It's almost hypnotic. I want to say, like the sound of a didgeridoo. I could listen for a long time, and it puts you in a sort of like a trance.
Yes.
It's like staring at fire in a way. Like it
Mm.
connects you. It connects you with a primordial element in a way.
Yeah, it can put you in that theta state.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's amazing. It's so peaceful.
Why do you want to achieve inner peace?
Because when I have inner chaos, it doesn't really feel too good.
Tell me about chaos. Tell me about how does it feel bad?
It feels like I have no peace.
But what's about the lack of peace, or what about chaos
Hmm.
that you don't like?
I guess like when your thoughts are just racing too much and it's just like complete bullshit. Sometimes just random thoughts, just continuously, and you can't shut your mind off.
And so meditation is basically the same as playing didgeridoo in a way. Like achieves the
Well,
same result.
I haven't meditated enough to really know that certain type of bliss, but I know like from meditation teachers and all that, they tell you it's not about shutting your mind off, it's about letting your thoughts just be there and accepting it. But at the same time, like the thoughts are all still running and running. But I find with things like the didgeridoo and sound healing, it can just bring me to a place of peace in a more, I don't know, efficient way than just trying to sit there, like trying to meditate and just like not.
But I think if you put an effort in meditation, it kind of defeats the point. Meditation should be like something effortless to my understanding. It might be tricky at the beginning to get in that status of quiet mind because we're not normally used to it. But once you learn what is the way, you can walk it like quite. You can reach that point like quite easily.
Do you meditate much?
I used to. Now I don't have enough time, which is what, like, which is the reason why I should meditate even more.
There's always time, Francesco.
Yes, there is always time.
Did you find it helped you to a place of peace?
There are many different techniques of meditation, and I think the way my brain works, I'm sort of like meditating a lot anyway, most of the time.
Just like your neutral state?
Yes.
Would that be like just being mindful in everything you do, or just like a like
No, just
detachment? reality.
acknowledging myself and acknowledging my thoughts
Yep.
while detaching myself from my inner self from anything that can be perceived. So my physical body and also my subconscious and my ego. I don't know if that makes any sense. It's a bit
To a degree. How would you define the ego?
well, how do I personally define it? I think the ego is not very positive aspect of our psyche. I think I didn't give much thought to this specific issue. Rather, I gave a lot of consideration to how I define identity of the self, like what's me, what's you, and I think ego and like subconscious and all of that is like a different level of consciousness. But the I want to say that I might argue that what people believe they are, it might be wrong.
Yes.
Of course this means nothing by itself, but my point is that everything around us is just the response to it's matter of perception. Our senses are in a way the organs that let us sense things are sensors, and we perceive reality through those devices, biological devices. So reality doesn't technically exist. It's just like, you know, when you have like a MRI machine. For an MRI machine, the scan that comes out of it is reality. And for a what is called a seismometer, reality is just like wavy lines that indicate if there is like a earthquake or not. So for us, reality is what we can perceive because we have these senses. But if you think about other animals as well, they have senses that we don't have. And imagine perceiving reality with those extra senses like infrared vision and ultrasound and like so
plus the like concept of time is way different to us. Like
time it's completely relative.
Yeah, because say for example, like how long does a dog live for? Like 20 years, human years,
roughly,
give or take. And then we live for about like 80 years, 80, 90,
100 something,
give or take. Yeah. Imagine like the concept of time, like I only have this long, this 20-year span to live as opposed to like 100 years. And say for a fly, they live like a few days. Their concept of life is only like a day or two, you know.
Absolutely. What do you think about time?
I think it's all different for everyone, how we perceive time. Just like when you're in a moment and you're having fun and time just flies, your concept of time is completely different to someone outside of that moment, I guess.
By the way, I'm going to have a very interesting conversation about time next Thursday with a time specialist. So just
he's got plenty of time on him.
Yeah.
Yes, you should. If you're interested in time and the scientific explanation and details about time, everyone should check out next Thursday's.
Is it Doc from Back to the Future? Is it?
No, it's the Doc from Doctor Who. No, it's actually a quantum physics expert, and we're gonna have a conversation about quantum physics and
interesting. But yeah,
relativity and time.
I think time's just like a measurement.
Yes.
Kind of like how we see like months and days and all that. It's just another measurement, really.
I don't know. I have the tendency to break everything down into sort of like measurable terms. So when you say like, for instance, vibrations or energy or time, most people I have this conversation with, they tell me, "Oh, you're very spiritual," but I'm actually not. Quite the contrary.
I don't understand what that word means, spiritual.
Doesn't mean shit.
It
doesn't mean shit.
Guys, we have a question. Sorry to cut you off.
Oh, no, with pleasure.
So this is from Marco.
Hey, Marco.
Marco.
So he's asking, could music therapy be the healing therapy or medicine, of like homemade medicine of the near future? Do you think it's possible? Or
I definitely agree. It's one method of healing. I feel there's so many different methods of healing, and this is definitely one method that's helped me in my individual life. But I feel there's so many different aspects of healing and what healing is to many different people depending what they go through. But for me, something like this brings me so much peace, I find, like, and I just really connect to it just straight away. I can't really explain it, but I just feel that. And so for me, it just brings me to a place of peace and healing.
What can you heal with music?
It's a soul, expression, traumas.
How do you define soul?
Ooh.
Sounds like a very religious term to me.
That's hard because am I all of my memories in this whatever chun this thing is that me, or am I simply just an awareness that goes deeper than chun? You know, am I simply just because I am aware then I am? Yeah, I don't know. What is a soul? What soul could be anything. There's like a soul in everything, I guess. Whatever expresses itself.
Yeah, I guess
How do you define it?
I don't know. Is the self, where does the self resides? In your brain?
That's a good question.
Like physically in this body, like if I chop one of your legs, I'm not gonna do it. But that would be very unpleasant and rude of me.
Really messy.
Also that. But you're not gonna be any less of what you are, except like physically, physical leg. So where does your identity, subconscious identity, resides? Like if you take organs away from people, like they're still themselves.
Yeah, I guess it comes down to the awareness and the memories, maybe.
Yeah, it lives on in people's memories.
Because say like someone has dementia and they forget everything. Are they still like them as you know them, or are they still like are they still the same soul, but without memories?
I don't like the word soul. To me, it implies just like Jesus stuff. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's I don't know. I think the word soul to me.
What would you call it?
I don't have a name for it.
What's your favorite thing?
Spirit?
No, I think identity, I want to say.
Do you feel memory has a lot to do with identity, or do you feel it goes deeper than that?
Well, memory is connected with the concept of time, in which I don't believe. So, events past and events future. Like I believe in reality, and reality is what I personally can only perceive right now in a fraction of a second, if you want to use like time measurement units.
So like the present moment, whatever that is.
Yes. So whatever was 2 seconds ago, it is no more. Like it, and yeah.
Yeah.
So all that exists is just that whatever is right now, and so yeah.
So we just got to make the most of it.
Yeah, I mean, it keeps changing. The present keeps changing, and we keep changing as well. I mean, our body decays constantly. Our cells, they decay and regenerate, and you're not the same person.
Every 7 years, I think. It's like completely new cells.
Yeah,
or something.
yeah. And I mean, physically, we change as well. Like, you're not the same person that you were a month ago. You're not the same person that you were like when you were like a toddler. Like it's like even the shape of
thankfully,
I guess this whole thing that we are in is a huge we're just passing through.
Roll credits.
It's just an experiment on perception to me. Like if you ask me like what's the meaning of life, it's an experiment on perception. Like,
I do feel it's very experimental. It's like God's just having fun, or whatever you want to call God, whatever created everything, divine force, energy, life, whatever.
Well, there are theories that claim that the universe is cyclical. It goes cyclical. Yeah, it goes in cycles. So it expands, it implodes, it goes back and forth, and never ends.
Yeah. Do you feel like maybe we've had this conversation before, like this exact same conversation?
Well, what do you mean by
this? All happened before, like in another universal cycle, and then the conversation is just playing it again.
What do you mean by before? That implies time.
It's just part of the cycle.
Yes. And in a way, they're all happening at the same time. It like could be parallel.
Hmm.
I mean, because time doesn't exist technically, so everything that ever happened and will happen and is happening
It's happening in the moment.
is happening in the
Yeah.
moment. So, what's the point of everything then?
But doesn't that just give a lot of freedom?
Absolutely. I believe
and
in
liberation.
Yeah. No, that's why I don't wanna I mean, the reason why I think that it's gonna be fine. Whatever it is, just everything.
Yeah, we'll be okay.
Yeah. No, I mean, okay. I don't believe in. Okay, this is like a strong a point of view, but I don't believe in right and wrong
Mm-hmm.
at all. As much as I don't believe in like good and bad is another thing, but right and wrong, I'm not sold to the idea of right and wrong.
What would be the difference between good and bad and right and wrong?
It's a matter of perception. When you apply judgment, I think everything is good and bad at the same time, and we are not capable of seeing like a big picture because of our human nature. And I also believe that our human nature is not our true nature. It's a particle of what we are part of. And as much as a cell is not aware of a body, we are not aware of what we are part of
At this current point.
at this current point.
Yeah.
I don't know if a cell is ever going to be aware that it's part of a body, but especially when the body dies or the cell dies and all of that. But I think that it doesn't really matter, because we are part of what we are regardless we're aware of it or not.
What do you think that is?
I have no idea. There's no way of knowing. I mean, how would you know? It just feels that
I know. I hear like ayahuasca can open up.
let's talk about drugs. This is getting I need to stay hydrated.
Yeah.
Have you ever tried ayahuasca?
No, I haven't tried ayahuasca. Just no, and I haven't felt the calling yet.
And that was my question. Are you interested in trying ayahuasca?
Like right now.
No. Yeah, I have some DMT somewhere in a drawer.
But
no, actually, I never tried that.
At some point in my life, I definitely want to.
Same, but yeah.
I feel like I will know when I feel the calling for it.
I know that whenever I'm gonna happen to be in South America, I'm just gonna do it.
Cool.
But I'm not planning on doing it, and I have no urgency, or like I don't feel any call. I'm just like, if I stop by that area of the world for any whatever reason, which is gonna happen eventually because I travel a lot, then that is definitely an experience that I wanna try, because everything is like about experiencing things anyway. And I heard so many good reviews.
Yeah, on Google, like good 5-star reviews about ayahuasca.
positive experiences from people that I trust.
Yeah.
And I've done a lot of research as well. There's a
What's your like perception on ayahuasca? Like, what do you feel it is, and what do you feel it can bring to your life?
To be honest, I don't. Okay. Curiosity is the ultimate answer. And curiosity is what killed the cat. But I think, okay, I'm not into drugs. I've never done any drug. And I wouldn't try, except for like occasional marijuana. And which doesn't really qualify. I mean, what drugs anyway? Anyway.
Pharmaceuticals, the drugs, and
yeah. Like even coffee is a drug. Like it's addictive.
Cigarettes.
Yeah.
But anyway.
So yeah, regardless of all of that, the only like illegal drug that is now legal in the like lot of countries anyway is marijuana that I've done. I have zero interest in trying most drugs, especially the chemically built ones, developed or whatever. This opens an entire other consideration about what's natural and what's not natural, but that's another story. I guess my point is, I would not try DMT, just the substance. I have no interest. I want to try ayahuasca. So DMT, for people who don't know, is the principio attivo.
It's a chemical that your brain releases when you dream, when
Okay.
you're born, and when you die, and it's in every plant and every animal.
Yes, it's everywhere, and we have DMT inhibitors in our brain that prevents us from tripping all the time. But when you do ayahuasca, they mix this plant, they make this drink, and that stops the inhibitors in your brain, so the DMT is free to circulate, and there's this psychedelic effects. And they say all sort of things like it connects with your inner self, it opens the gates to new worlds or whatever. But the point is that you can achieve the same just taking DMT as a chemical drug. The reason why I would not do that is because it's not because I have an interest in the spiritual side of the other option. Like, I don't care for the again, I'm not a very spiritual person in the sense that I believe that the shaman has any healing power or
He doesn't. He's just guiding you, and it's really
Exactly.
you that's healing.
Absolutely. So if I was taking DMT on my own on my couch, I would feel like a junkie, and I have no interest in doing. Even if I had somebody helping me, taking care of me and all of that, I mean, I have no interest for that. But in a context where there is a history behind it and the tradition, and there is like a spiritual guide, even though I don't buy the spiritual side of it, I want to experience that and learn why they're doing what they're doing, what's their motive. So it's more like
Why have they been doing these ceremonies since the beginning
Yeah.
of their time for thousands and thousands of years? It does spark my curiosity too.
yes.
Yeah.
And it's my tourist side that wants to experience that, basically.
Yeah.
Just I
Yeah.
want to
Take some photos. And
No, I just want to. I would just want to be there and be
Yeah.
part of it, and be like, yeah, I've done that, and I know how it feels, and
yeah,
yeah.
it'd be interesting to try it. Yeah.
There's so many commercialized tours these days.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that I would avoid.
It's always around. Any type of thing, I feel gets saturated by
Yeah, as soon as
humans. Yeah.
as soon as Joe Rogan starts talking about something, it becomes super popular.
Elk meat.
Elk meat, yes.
What's that? Elk?
He's like a bow hunter,
Yeah.
and he praises elk meat a lot.
Right.
And almost every guest that he has, he goes I have kilos of elk meat in my fridge. Do you want some?
St. Vincent.
And I'm sure it's great.
Yeah. As opposed to a cow or so. Yeah.
Well,
Mm.
said the vegetarian. What's your relationship with drugs?
That's really good. It's very on and off, I'd say. I guess a couple of years ago, I did a lot of psychedelics. The past 2 years, I've laid
How
off.
would you describe it to a person that has never done any psychedelics?
What kind of person?
Me. Or anyone else who's never tried it.
I guess it makes you more sensitive in the senses that you already have and the ones that you're not too aware of. And so I feel you're just a lot more sensitive to energies, I guess. And you can just pick up on a lot of things whilst you're having this psychedelic experience where, I don't know, it's different because sometimes the psychedelics can make you feel sober.
Yeah.
The most sober you've ever been. but then sometimes like it's the opposite.
Is it like the same when you drink a lot and you go like, I can definitely drive now?
No, not like that. It's different to being drunk. It's very like you see things clearly. I feel that can be in the terms of your thought patterns, in the terms you relate to people, in the ways that other people relate to each other, the things that they're not saying to each other, just things like that.
Have you ever had bad trips? Or
Yeah, a few times.
What happened?
Well, like during most of the trip, I was just with my friend playing guitar, and that was great. But then I went back home, and then I don't know, I just started hearing voices.
Okay.
Yeah, and that went on for hours, and I thought I just went schizophrenic. I'm like, oh shit, I really did it this time.
That happens to me without taking any drugs. I mean, hearing voices.
But the voices were loud.
Okay.
I don't know. I guess I just had to wait it out. Just tried to remind myself, right? I'm tripping. You know, it's okay. Just distract myself so I'm not just sitting in my thoughts.
what was the voice saying? Like, what were you hearing actually?
I couldn't really make out like if it was speaking like English or whatever, but like it was really loud and it felt like it was just like right in my ear.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
Must
weird.
be annoying. Shut up.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But I find ketamine to be a really interesting one.
I know nothing about it. Except
It's
that
the
it's like a tranquilizer, yeah.
Well, yeah, they use it to tranquilize horses. It's very tranquil.
Okay.
But I do feel time really slows down on ketamine.
Okay.
Yeah, like, because I could be just doing things with my friends and just be so involved with something, and it feels like it went on for hours, but then I look at my watch and only 10 minutes have passed. I'm like, how is this possible? Like, we did so much.
But did you actually do much, or did you like feel you did much?
I don't know.
Do you do drugs for recreational reasons, or just for the pleasure of it, or because you actually benefit from, like, for a healing kind of process, or both?
I guess it started with recreational curiosity kind of stuff. But then it started becoming more about healing and respecting what this substance or tool has to show you. And I guess for me, like, it's taught me to be more empathetic.
Okay.
With all the trips I had, it made me look at my past and I guess like traumas and all the things I had to go through, and to really, like, I don't know, I guess like decipher all of that and understand why certain things happened and what that kind of led to through the actions I took from those experiences, you know. And so I guess lately it's been more tailored towards healing and helping people find different perspectives and for them to heal and grow.
And how do you choose which drug is more appropriate for your current, like, status, like for your current situation or whatever?
I guess it's different for everyone. For me, I do find acid I can sit with more easily than mushrooms.
Okay.
Like sometimes with mushrooms, I can just feel uncomfortable for no reason. And that uncomfortability just sits in my stomach for the whole trip. But even though, like, mentally I'm in a good spot beforehand, also I've like had enough rest and all that. But I feel, I don't know, sometimes mushrooms just puts me in that spot where I'm just like existential and confused. I'm like, what's going on? But I find with acid, sometimes I can be really intuitive and just really go for it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Interesting. Any side effects of any other drugs, like besides feeling?
Well, with mushrooms, it helped me stop smoking.
Okay.
That was a side effect. Another side effect, you'll be more empathetic and a bit more sensitive.
But they sound like a positive side effect.
Yeah, still side effects. Like. But I guess it really depends on your set and setting. Like, it really matters where your head's at and where you do it. Preferably in nature.
Okay.
And
why is that?
It just
feels better.
Feels better. It's nature.
What do you think is the connection there?
Well, I do feel mushrooms because it's a natural plant.
Do you feel like more vulnerable when like you're under the influence of drugs, and that's why like nature maybe has this sort of like nurturing.
Yeah, definitely that. And plus, like when you're at home, you're constantly surrounded by all this like Wi-Fi screens,
Cameras,
first
microphones.
world kind of stuff, all this first world kind of like
Yeah.
things, and it's nice to disconnect from that, because I feel like when you want to take psychedelics, it's to like separate yourself from all of this life that you've built up and all of this kind of first world distractions and stress and all that.
This is pretty alienating. But I mean, some people say that like we as humans, first world humans, have lost track of what life is really about and lost track of the contact with nature and all. But one might argue that what is actually happening is that we have transformed the environment around us to the point that nature is the alien element to a point. Not alien in the sense that with a negative connotation, but alien to us. Like we are not fit anymore to belong in that element. And what do you think about that?
Oh wow, never heard it like that before. I feel we need nature.
Oh, we certainly do.
Yeah, I feel it's a part of us. In the same way, like we need vegetable, we need to eat vegetables and fruits to survive.
It's not COVID, I promise. Yes.
Same with like minerals in the water that we drink.
One thing to support this we don't belong in nature theory. I do believe that theoretically a vegan diet, I'm not vegan, I'm vegetarian. I believe that a vegan diet is theoretically the healthiest diet for a person. I've tried it for months. The effect of my body were astonishing. I'm not gonna list like all the positive things, but the thing that made me go back to a vegetarian diet is it's not natural, in the sense that you need supplements. Like there is no way for a person to live an healthy life and have an healthy diet on a vegan diet without taking supplements or fortified foods, which is basically supplements put into food.
What kind of supplements?
B12 specifically.
Lacking?
That's the only one that you cannot find nowadays in vegetable products, because it's a byproduct of bacteria, and fruit and veggies are industrially washed and all of that. And long story short, there's no B12 in any vegan products.
What about like fermented foods? Say like kimchi or something, or sauerkraut.
Kimchi
Would
they
that
put
B12?
kimchi they put fish sauce, like it's part of kimchi, right?
Oh, there's vegan ones now, but yes, I think originally they do. But
I'm not aware of presence of B12 in kimchi. But
Neither am I.
we can look it up. I wouldn't personally rely on kimchi for my well-being, and
Don't think many do.
kimchi is very good, by the way.
Yeah, it's really tasty.
Yes. I really like the idea, and this is just me. Most people are totally fine with, I'm going to take B12 from now on, supplements, or I'm going to buy fortified food. But I like the idea that even if it's never going to happen, one day I'm like living by myself in the woods with the wolves or whatever, I can survive without tablets. So
it would be nice.
yeah. I don't know. I just
Well, like that being said, does that mean the vegan diet is unnatural because they need to take supplements?
that was what I was trying to say. I think if you need to rely on a laboratory to make a product that supplies your nutrients, it's not like relying on a farm or on nature. Like that thing, if the factory shuts down, it's not gonna be made anymore.
Yeah.
And the other way to get it is to eat meat or eggs or cheese, which gives you plenty of B12 anyway. So to me, that is an example of the fact that as humans, we are not fit anymore to belong in nature because we changed the nature of nature in a way, not affecting nature itself, but affecting our ability to live in that kind of environment.
Because we've adapted enough without nature, and so
Yeah,
we've
we
adapted
created
in
our
this
own
way.
world and we adapted to live in it. And we made that like outside of nature, or it doesn't need nature. So yeah, it's kind of. Having said that, it's great to go back to nature and be part of it and try to connect with it because it's our nature. But sadly, we're transitioning to we don't need dirt and trees anymore.
Who's we?
Humans.
Like every human, or like majority of the mainstream
Most.
humans?
Most humans. No, I mean, I'm talking like genetically predisposed to not need certain things and need other things.
I
We're
don't know, but like
adapting.
if we
Bouldering.
don't need dirt and all the natural elements, like where are we gonna grow our foods and all that? And like we do need an aspect of that to provide the foods that we eat, right? So therefore, that is a part of.
There's laboratories
what we
that are
need.
creating meat from stem cells, and they make like steaks and burgers without the need for animals. Like the meat, which is actual meat.
How long for? And have there been a majority of people like eating that for the majority of their lifetime that they've adapted in that way that they don't need anything else?
No, but I mean that meat, that meat specifically, it's exactly the same as regular meat from a cow, but you don't need a cow anymore, and you need a lab instead, and researchers and doctors and scientists. So you see my point? Like, what is shifting is we used to rely on nature to provide for ourselves. Now we're relying on ourselves to provide for ourselves.
Mm.
And once we
I'd be curious to see where that goes and how long
make the
that
leap,
can be sustainable for. It'd
I'm
be
not sure, but
interesting,
what worries me is that once we make the leap, then are we gonna be able to jump back if we need? Who knows?
yeah, who knows? Yeah, it's an interesting age we live in now. And there's so much going on, and I'm really curious to see like where things go in the next like 30 years.
There will be people living in space as well in the future.
Yeah, we'll see.
I need to watch that show. What's this called, Kyo?
The Expanse, it's
Yes.
so good. You guys gotta watch it.
The Expanse. No,
It's
I
a
haven't seen that
sci-fi
yet.
series on Amazon.
I heard
Cool.
it's good. I need to watch it.
Mhm.
Anything else we haven't covered?
Oh, there's many things we haven't covered. I don't know.
Any more questions?
Currently, no. Oh, just my personal question.
Yes.
How does sound healing work? Like in the process, can you tell us what you actually went through in that therapy?
So I guess it's different per healer or person, but generally they just set the space and they like sage or whatever they need to do to really set the space, and then they just start playing either it's singing bowls or didgeridoo or flute or whatever modality of music, and it can either go on for like an hour or longer. It really depends, but they play the instrument, and generally it's a drone, and that drone just really sends you to the theta state. Where
What's the theta state?
it's when you're not awake but you're not asleep, and you're just kind of hovering in between, but you're aware of it.
That's
And
cool.
It's super nice.
Is it like lucid dreaming or?
Kind of, yeah. So
Cool.
I guess like when your body's in that state, it naturally heals itself at a better rate. So I guess the sound is helping you be in that state so your body can heal itself at a better rate. And plus, think about vibration, right? Say for example, if I raise my voice because I'm angry, you can tell straight away that I'm angry, and you feel something inside, oh, this guy's angry and all that. It's the same thing with the vibration. It affects the chemical makeup in our body in a frequency kind of way. And so our body is made up of like 70% water, and so the sound can definitely affect the water in our body as well, and to bring you to a more harmonious state.
It's definitely romantic.
It depends how you see it. I just see it as a really lovely way of getting into
Yeah.
peace. Yeah.
I'd love to give it a go. Like
Yeah, like I'm happy to do a sound healing for you guys one day.
that'd be great. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
nice.
It really takes you somewhere.
Fantastic. If anyone wants to experience sound healing, CHUN, reach out. Or also if you're interested in bouldering videos, tutorials, and didgeridoo music. Thanks a lot everyone for watching. Thank you very much, CHUN, for coming
Thank
here.
you.
Amazing conversation. I really enjoyed it.
Good chatting with you.
And please subscribe if you find these chats interesting. Buonanotte.
Buonanotte. Awesome.